Today I'm going to go over how to start a simple workflow in Razor's Edge NXT. So workflows can be helpful tools, especially to send reminders for our fundraisers. Like maybe today, for example, we're going to be setting up an action to track and notify a fundraiser of gifts that have come in from 5 to 10,000 or more. So we'll begin in Razor's Edge NXT, which I have open on my screen. And we're going to go hop over and we're going to begin with communications. This is where we would find our workflow designer. You went up, you can see there are some flows already that are active right here. It states active. And also those that are in draft, meaning they are still being designed, they have not been activated in the system and will not be working. Below Workflow Designer, we're going to click the new workflow and we can name our workflow. So today I will be calling it Giving Society Cards. Donors with total giving. And just a brief little description of what the workflow will be doing. Hit save. Next, we can determine by selecting criteria, building a list, or totally bypassing this because we're not sure what we want. By selecting criteria, we are looking restrictively at constituents who have given a gift. The workflow will start with the condition that meets based on a constituent gift. And below, we can begin to identify what type of gift. Is this their first gift, their greatest gift, their largest, or any gift? I'm going to begin with any gift. And I select my options based on my description. I want it to be more than $5,000. So I'm going to go greater than 5K. Oh, sorry. We can continue to select what types of gifts we would like to look at, whether that be pledges or payments on pledges or one-time gifts. We can also then select and choose from here what we would like. Maybe we only want to receive revenue. So I'll do pledges and payments. Select. The only gift structure option we have in the realm of campaigns, appeals, and funds is just funds. We can't search by or select by a campaign or appeal. We can only do this by a particular fund, but we can select multiple funds that we may be looking at. I am just going to find annual fund. This is a very restrictive way to start building a workflow. I'm going to cancel out of here because we are looking for any gift of $5,000 or more. But I want to be a bit more specific in what I drill down in what I drill down on this workflow and who I would like to include in it. So I'm going to hit cancel. We can always bypass this and focus on this portion later, but I'm actually going to select a list. There is no option here to, as you might be used to building in database view with query into export, you can start a query while you're working on an export. In web view with workflow, we need to have our list already built. So I'm going to cancel really quick because I do want to show you this part. So I'm going to hop over to a new tile. I'm going to go to constituent lists. Workflows must have a constituent list. It cannot be a gift list. From WebView, it must be a constituent. So here in gift lists, I am going to first save this. I'm going to save it as a new list. And me personally, I like to put a little tag on all my lists. So if I'm using it specifically for an email, I'll do email, and for workflow, I'll do WF. So I know that this is a list that could be potentially tied to a workflow. And we're going to say society giving cards. From here, you can determine if you're the only one to be able to view this list, if others can view it, or if others can also manage it. I will say others can manage it just in case things need to be altered. And we'll save. Okay. So 20,000, 27,000. I want to whittle this down into the real group I want the workflow to be able to trigger an action for. So in my filters, I have any gift, which is essentially what we just did in the criteria for the workflow. Or we have total giving. And this is really where I want to focus, because in my message, I did say total giving. And there is a difference between the two. If I'm looking for any gift and I want $5,000 or more, and it's based off payments, there are donors that may give $1,000 increments. Any gift would never then allow those installments to filter into my workflow. Whereas if I do this by a total giving, once there are 5 installment payments of $1,000 have come through, this will trigger them in my workflow. So total giving is greater than or equal to 5,000. I can set the gift date, and we'll say this calendar year. I can again control which types I would like to see. So we'll do one time, and I'll do pledge payments, and we'll also do reoccurring gift payments, as well as stock property. Apply. We can choose to include soft credits, as well as now we have the function to control the criteria for campaigns, funds, and appeals. So you could have this same exact workflow set up for multiple different campaigns going on in your organization. So do annual. 2026 memberships. And again, we can control by the fund as well. From here, we'll hit apply. So far, nothing has come up. I can still play with these filters to get the group that I want. But I want to know here, you can see right here, there is an asterisk. That means that this constituent list is not saved. So the current view that you are looking on will not be what the workflow triggers off of. It would be what it was originally saved at, which was that 27,000 records. So we want to make sure to always save changes to this list. Even though this is 0, I'm going to hop back over to workflow so we can continue building this. So I'm going to go back to my select lists, and I'm going to look for the list that I just created. Here we go. So I can see here that I have selected my gift, or my list, I'm sorry. Below, I want to make sure that it applies to all existing constituents that currently exist in this constituent list, if there were any, as well as any new constituents that were to fall into this list. So if tomorrow someone gave a $5,000 gift, that then would trigger the workflow for tomorrow for that new person. So this is, again, very dynamic. It's not a static list. It's not a static workflow. This is a very dynamic, ongoing workflow. The only restrictions we have in place is that gift date criteria we have and the campaign criteria we have on the constituent list. And those would need to be updated then annually for the workflow to continue to work. So I want to apply that any new constituents that get added to this list get a workflow. You could always leave this unchecked, making it a very static workflow, because it would then only group that one time. And we're going to hit save. So this is our first condition. Next, it's going to say, what do you want to happen with this workflow? What is the job of the workflow? So we're going to hit plus. Do we want to add an email, or do we want to add an action? And we're going to add an action. I'm going to call it mailing. So this is if they give of this amount, this is a giving card maybe, and it's an action to cue the fundraisers. Maybe it's a special thank you card that's handwritten, maybe a prayer card that maybe these donors received and are mailed, but these are very intentional. And this is not something to go to a mail house or mass distributed. It's meant to be an intentional touch. So we go mailing, and we're going to say 5K gift card. For the 10K, we can swap this out and create one specifically for gift cards. If maybe they each receive a different trinket or a different prayer card or a different thank you card. In summary, we're at 2026 giving cards. Okay. And then we will hit, oh, got out that. So our summary, a brief note. And we can also, the most important part, assign it to the fundraiser who should be receiving these actions. So we will select it and type in my name and hit save. We can continue to add on extra steps if we would like, adding in a condition, dependent steps of once the fundraiser marks this complete, should it trigger a phone call or another action for their supervisor and so forth. So we can keep building this out, but I'm going to keep it simple as we start this out. From here, I can save and close this if I want to come back and work on it, or I can immediately activate the workflow. If you need to change the name or anything, you can hit properties and you can always update these. You have up to 20 steps that you are limited to down here in the right corner. And right now I'm going to hit save and close. I'm not going to activate this at the moment. So you can see this is living in my drafts now. I can click on it at any time by hitting the ellipses, by either copying it, editing it. Go back out. Sorry, save and close. I can archive it or delete the workflow as well from over here. Once the workflow is active, I'm going to kind of give a Good Morning of America, cooking scene. There's already something prepped already for the final food. So I do want to show you without activating this what the fundraiser will see so I can do it in real time. So going back to this workflow that we just designed and saying that we activated it, what would happen then the next day for the fundraiser is they would go to their homepage, or actually they would go to their work center. And this is the important part, is that for the work center to work, the fundraiser must be honed into it and bought into it. It would just be something in addition to like Asana that they need to go and check. And from their work center, you can see, Sheena Mikesell, I now have 18 past due actions. These were set up yesterday, or actually on the 19th. And I can see I have these giving cards to mail out. It gives me the constituent summary. So I have their address information, as well as I can click onto their record to make sure to see if they have a spouse. So maybe it's a Mr. and Mrs. Blackbaud, as well as I could look at their giving and see how large of a gift that they gave. From here, the fundraiser can then edit or mark completed as they go. The beauty of this is that it is all tracked in the system. The fundraiser's activities with these donors, these intentional touches, and the workflow is essentially doing the job for us instead of a staff having to come in and run a query and then send this list off an email to the fundraiser. The fundraiser can come into their work center, review their actions, and send off the giving cards or prayer cards that they choose. These workflows can be deactivated at any time, steps can be added and updated, but they are truly something that is beneficial and can help you within your job and build your stewardship with your donors. So thank you so much.